TIMEOUT, Rethinking Your Life Strategy, a weekend of encouragement with Coach Steve Doan, Saturday afternoon. Now that you have told God everything about your life that seems to be a problem, are you ready to start what we call a life cleanup process while you're waiting on God to know Him personally? As I mentioned earlier, this time of waiting on the Lord is not simply what we call a do-nothing time of passiveness. I also want to be very clear about this point. You're not trying to, quote, clean up your life in order to get right with God, to get religious, or to somehow get God to love you more. God already does love you. And entering into a right relationship with Him comes through faith alone in Jesus, not what we do to, quote, get His favor. This step in the process is because your conscience has already been activated. Your list things that are bothering you reflects things in your life that you knew were wrong and sinful in the eyes of God, and now you're in the process of making what we call a course correction. My little children, these things I write unto you, that ye sin not. That's what God says in His Bible, 1 John 2. God has put this mechanism in us called a conscience, and the conscience of believers is influenced by what we call the Holy Spirit. So you can start tapping into that now. Begin by immediately removing anything in your life that you know is a violation of God's standards or expectations. Now is the time to start dealing with any unhealthy attitudes, removing yourself from immoral situations, and confronting addictions in your life. The Lord will be working in your heart and mind while you're going through this process. He will be activating your conscience so that you can be clear about what you need to remove from your life. If sin be in thy hand, put it far away, and let not wickedness dwell in thy house. Job 11. Many times being serious about this step can take some monumental effort on your part. And you even risk being unpopular with some friends or some neighbors. However, you need to stick with it, and just as you would anything you want to get good at, you just got to stay with it. But you can be confident while you stay with it. God will be with you. He will help you, and He will guide you. As your coach, I have confidence in you, and I'm sure you can figure out what most of the ungodly attitudes in your life are, and you can immediately start to deal with them. However, if you get stuck on exactly where to start, I'd suggest that you consider doing an internet search on the 10 Commandments. I'm sure you're familiar with at least some of those. Things like not taking the Lord's name in vain, lying, killing, or committing adultery. To be honest, this step in the process might take a few days or even weeks for you to begin to see some results. So we won't wait to get all these things straightened out before we move on to the next step. But I urge you, do not wait days, weeks, or months. You need to get started in this process now. Coachdone.